Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome on in. It's your controller review specialist. It's Cookie Slays back with another review. And today we have a very special review. Yes, it's true. We finally got our hands on it. It's the FlyDigi Vader 4 Pro. Yes, is it all hype? Is it the real deal? Well, let's find out. Let's just jump on into it. Here's a review for the FlyDigi Vader 4 Pro. Hope you enjoy.
Hello there, it's Cookie Slays. Me want to talk to you because it's a good way to find out about things. You know, life not all guessing games. Sometimes we have to care about friends, especially friends who love cookies. Friends who love cookies so much they play silly because maybe just maybe a friend, a very handsome friend who has cookie will give best friend who no can live without cookie. But if friendship mean nothing,
You know, fun fact, guys. Every time you yawn, that's a ghost sticking their dick in your mouth. I enjoyed that ghost dick. It was super thick. Individual biddies.
Cheer one, 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 cheer one,
Oh no!
cheer one, 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 cheer.
I'd like you to
I know that professor is kind of cute. I'd hit it. I'd definitely hit it.
that's me here. Bye-bye.
All right. So first and foremost, guys, before we get into the actual controller itself, let me just do a huge shout out to FlyDigi on this. I think this is the best box that I've ever received for a controller, in a way. And I don't mean that in a way like aim controller stuff like that. They do a great job at like boxing. What I mean is like the improvements from one line to another line from FlyDigi. I have a Apex 4, and I will say the boxing on that is more than twice the size of this one for no reason. No reason at all. This one's more compact. They're able to, you know, keep the components nice and secure. It's a very good, very well done. I think obviously it saves them on shipping as well. So that's good, but very good job on just the box. I just got the standard edition. I don't have the, you know, the carrying case and stuff like that. I did order mine through a non-Amazon website. Guys, let me be very clear about this. If you're trying to save some money and stuff like that, the alternate sites are the way to go. Amazon's good for getting it quick and cheap. Not quick and cheap. I'm sorry. Quick and fast. That's the same exact wording. Guys, don't listen to me. You know what I mean. But at the same time, you'll listen to a lot of people who review controllers and stuff like that, and they're going to tell you, oh, only go through Amazon because you can, you know, repair it and stuff like that. You can do that with all the others out there, AliExpress, Banggood, whatever you go through. It's there, you know what I mean? Amazon is just, you know, a lot of ways people use their partner codes and links and stuff like that. It is what it is. More power to it. Go through whoever you're comfortable with. If you're comfortable with AliExpress, go through AliExpress. If you're comfortable with Amazon, do that. I will say it is a very fairly priced controller for what it is, 1,000%. So without further ado, let's get into the controller itself. First off is the Xbox design, just like most of FlyDigi's, if not all, if I'm not mistaken. First, the buttons itself, very nice. They feel just like the ones on the Apex, which I highly enjoyed. The buttons themselves, I think, are awesome because You look here in the back. It's probably a little hard to see in this lighting. I'm sorry. But it does have trigger locks. You can do more with this with the software. We'll get into that a little later. I think it's very good in that regard. The D-pad is just the same as it was on the Apex, which awesome. Unfortunately, I haven't got my hands on a Vader 3, so I can't really compare that as well. Eventually. It does have LED strip that you can customize in the software right here. It's very minimal. I will say that is a downgrade from the Apex. If you were liking the Apex's LED strips, digital face screen, all that. If you like that, it's a downgrade from that. If you're not a big old RGB guy or girl, you'll like this a lot better. You have your power button right here. Your power button literally looks like a home. That's how you turn it on. You have the function button right here. You do stuff with that in the software. It does come with 2 other additional buttons that you can set to pretty much anything you want. I don't have anything set to them right now. I don't know how or when I use these yet. And in fact, I think I've clicked them a couple times when testing out the controller while playing COD. I need to probably deactivate them for right now until I know what I want to do with these. Which you can definitely do. You can deactivate remap pretty much anything on the controller, which is awesome. On the back, you have your macro buttons, basically. I call them macro buttons. But mainly because it's M1, M2, M3, M4. But these are your remappable buttons in the back. I guess like any pro controller typically has these days, that you can remap to make sure that your hands kind of stay on the sticks, and instead of you using the AX, YB, you're using AY, stuff was on the back. They're really well placed compared to a lot of controllers I've used. They're probably my favorite overall. And once again, you can null these. Like, for example, for me, I had the habit of clicking this guy a lot when I don't mean to, so I have it nulled out so it doesn't do anything. The other 2 are fine. And I'll show you a trick for you COD players, or I guess FPS players in general, once we get to the software for these as well. Let's talk about the sticks. The sticks are always the most important part. These are the same, they feel like the same Hall effect sticks that are on the Apex, which is fantastic. I think they're the best sticks on the market, hands down. But the thing about this controller that is that makes this the breadwinner for me is the loosening and tightening feature for the sticks. Okay. Before we get into that, this is the Apex 4. You literally, to tighten or loosen the sticks, you actually have to take the faceplates off, take the D-pad off, take the thumbsticks off, and then there's a tightening tool that's inside of the controller, and you tighten and loosen right here or right here. The issue with this, and FlyDigi has said this multiple times, and I reached out to them directly about this, and they say it's only an issue apparently with the first batch of these that came out, where you either loosened it or tightened one of these sticks too much, and it would break the stick, and there's no way to replace it because there's no way to fix it. For example, take a look. That's not supposed to do that, guys. I over loosened this one. I didn't think I did, and it broke. I've done this at two Apex already. Okay. So what FlyDigi did with the Vader 4 is they brought in a technology. I don't know if it's their own technology or somebody else's. I'm assuming it's theirs. Because I've never seen this on another controller. But you literally lefty loosey, righty tighty on this little circle that's around the stick. Okay, and you'll either make it, if you go left, you'll make it super loose. If you go right, you make it super tight. That is fantastic. I like to have a little bit looser left stick and a little bit tighter right stick. That's how I've always played. There's a lot of companies out there that you cannot tighten the sticks at all. You know, Scuff, Aim, all those guys. You cannot do that to their sticks. It sucks. The Elite is the only controller that I can think of off the top of my head that has a feature that you can, you know, tighten. Okay. That was the first one that I experienced personally. And it was a good system. It's not great, but it's not bad. Once again, the Apexes, because of its little room for error on the loosening and tightening, is the major downfall of this controller over anything. And I will say, before this Vader, this is by far the best controller I've owned. And I've owned a lot of controllers, and that's how good this controller is. If it wasn't for the tightening and loosening feature on this, it's a pain. It's a pain, especially because then you have to go through the replacement cycle for this, which makes the buying through Amazon better for this controller because of that. I went through, I think, Banggood for that one, and it just didn't work. You know, it's a long process to get them replaced. I have 2 of them now. I have waiting on my 3rd one now. We'll see what happens. But the sticks are fantastic, and the tightening feature is a 10 out of 10. So I can't stress how well that is. Otherwise, on the controller, it has very little grip. So I would definitely look into getting something. You know, there's all kinds of companies out there to do basic grip tape for Xbox style controllers, PlayStation style controllers. Look into it. Very easy, very cheap and affordable. I'm going to be getting some myself just because it definitely needs it. It's the only grip per se is right here, and it's very little. Very, very little. You have a little bit on the, you know, the triggers, but it's very tiny. Very, very tiny. Like it's basically, why did you put it here? Yeah. Also, this controller has the ability for mobile docking, which is awesome. It's, you know, because all their controllers seem to be compatible for mobile gameplay, which I think is good. I think being able to plug in a controller, not plug in, but Bluetooth controller and connect for a mobile game for a controller is fantastic. I think it's the next wave. I'm hoping to see that more and more with companies. So yeah, overall, I would say if you take away the grip issue, this is like I would put this 9 out of 10 on the controller. I guess how it feels and everything. It feels great. It's not overly sized or too small. It's your standard Xbox size, but they've made their own impact on it. So 9 out of 10 right there. 9 out of 10 for just the design of the controller. let's move on to the software of the controller now. All right, here we are. We are in the software of the FlyDigi. It's called FlyDigi Space Station. I think they're on like a 3.4 version currently. When you first open up, if you don't have your controller plugged in already, it's going to ask you what FlyDigi peripheral do you want to connect, and it literally lists everything. They have a lot of controllers. I personally need to get my hands on one of these one-piece versions. What? I need those. I need those in my life. Yeah, I need them. I need them. But once you connect, it should identify your controller once you turn it on. And here is the software. Before we continue, the only issue I really have with the software is you can't resize it. This is the size it opens up to. This is the size it is. You can minimize it. You can close it. You cannot expand it in any way, shape, or form. I do not like that. FlyDigi, fix that, please. But as you can see here, this is an overall look at your controller currently. You have regular, you have shooting, you have fighting, you have racing configs on the left. We're set to shooting right now because that is what we're going to be mainly playing with this controller. And you guys will see why here in a moment. If you move on from the home screen here, you can go to your buttons. You can literally remap everything. You have your expanded buttons in the back, and then also the two on the front below your normal A, B, X, Y that we currently do not have programmed because I don't know what I want to use them for yet. As you guys can see, I have the A, the R, and my right stick as my expanded buttons. Cookie, why do you have the R? Well, I play COD majority. And if you guys have ever used a controller, or even a mouse and key, you'll know that when you're trying to reload, sometimes you interact with the loot instead. But if you set it to R, strictly reload like a keybind, it won't interact, which helps out a lot with accidentally swapping out something you don't want to swap out with. So that's definitely something I recommend. Shout out to Artist War for pointing that out. I did see his video on that. I tried it out myself. It works fantastic. So a big shout out to Artist War on that. Front buttons, you have everything. You can literally remap everything in this software, which is, I think, is fantastic for a lot of those. Let's call them remapping junkies. Yeah, remapping junkies. Moving on, we're gonna skip over joystick for right now. Moving on to gyro. I don't use gyro myself. I think it's better for racing games personally. But there are a bunch of tutorials out there for those who want to improve aim that use gyro to do that. But honestly, I don't see the point in it. I'm not gonna probably ever use this, so that's all there is to it. Triggers. I don't use the stroke settings. I just use the trigger locks on the back of the controller. But for those who don't want to use the locks or using something besides the shooting game for this controller, look in the stroke settings. You can adjust it accordingly for your left and your right triggers. Trigger vibration, I have instantly. I just turn that off. I don't need vibration. Vibration can mess up with your aim a lot. We're not doing it. Same thing with amplitude, which has to do with the grip. All that I'm not going to mess with. We just have it turned off. General is pretty cool because you can mess with the LED. You have streamlined lighting, breathing, gradient, feedback, steady, or turn it off completely. I want to mess with the colors eventually and change them up. I think that's really cool for those RGB lovers. It doesn't look bad at all on the controller. For those who love the RGB and the faceplate on the Apex 4, this is a downgrade from it, but at the same time, they're still including something for those RGB lovers, which is awesome. The grip has to do with the controller vibration. You don't need to do anything with it if you have it turned off, which is what I do. But if you want to mess with it, it is in the general settings. Now, let's move on to joystick. Joystick is the most important thing in this controller slash software. You have your left stick, you have your right stick. You have your sensitivity curves here. You have your default instant delay custom. FlyDigi, if you come across this review, look into Scuff and Vision Pro's software, the IQ software. They have a function of being able to customize your curves. I think they do it a little bit better than you guys, as you can, I think it's like 6 or 7 points you can actually customize across the curve. They also include the dynamic curve, which is a lot of shooters are leaning toward now. So maybe including dynamic curve into this and more points to customize besides these 2 points, I think would be ideal. That's all you can do. You can do 2 points. So I think that'd be very much ideal. You can kind of set it into a little bit of an S curve yourself, which is awesome. But at the same time, dynamic's still a better curve. So I'm just going to leave it at default and let COD do its thing when I'm playing COD. The joystick center and joystick edge are basically those points as well. That's kind of what you're doing here. If you look and see. So you'll customize it as you're going. For those of you who know what they're doing on this, I think this is awesome. But at the same time, a lot of people don't. I do, but at the same time, you can really mess up your aim with this, or you can make it fantastic. That's why I'm saying if you guys could go into a more point of emphasis on this, I think it'd be highly ideal. But for now, we're just going to keep it right here. One of the main things on this controller that I love is this right here, circularity algorithm. I'll read this out to you guys. Ideally, when the joystick is pushed to the bottom to complete a full circle, the track should be a perfect circle. However, under the circular track algorithm, if players want to make their characters run in some games, when the joystick is pushed to the edge in a diagonal direction, the character's acceleration will be obviously lower than when pushing the joystick to up, down, left, or right direction. Therefore, rectangular track algorithm can ensure consistent data output in all directions for the joystick. The default joystick circularity of all FlyDigi controllers are set to rectangular track, which provides a higher precision and speed for most games. Circular track offers better directional accuracy and is more suitable for sports games and FPS games. You can choose the appropriate setting based on your own gaming needs. Cookie, that sounds awesome. What does it mean? So basically, think of it like this. Rectangular, movement. Circle, aim. That's the dumbed down version for you. Okay. Therefore, my left stick is set to rectangle because your left stick is typically used for movement in most, if not all, games. Right stick is set to circle for aiming. And that's simple as that. You don't have to go into more on that or anything like that. It's pretty good. The last feature here that we want to talk about is right here. It says, click here to enter advanced settings of the joystick, which takes effect globally. Let's take a look at that. All right. First and foremost, you have sleep time. After this period of time, the controller goes to sleep and you can be awakened by pressing the home button. Guys, this actually happened to me. I don't know why, but it did. So we're going to set that to never because I'll just turn that on and off myself. Joystick debounce. Okay. Guys, this has to do a lot with the jitter of a controller. And I will say this, for non-FPS games, have this on. For FPS games, have this off. Okay. I'll read this out to you. By default, the debounce algorithm of the joystick is activated to maintain the stability when the joystick is slightly moved. After turning off the joystick debounce switch, the joystick data will fluctuate within the range of 0.001 to 0.002, which is a normal phenomenon. Due to the continuous fluctuation of joystick data, joystick automatic calibration mechanism is ineffective. It is necessary to turn on the joystick debounce switch again before enabling the function of joystick automatic calibration. If you play games which need joystick operations of high precision, such as FPS games, it is recommended to turn off this switch. Okay. So since we mainly play FPSs, we have it turned off. Joystick accuracy. I'll read this out so you guys get an idea, but just know if I'm correct, if I remember correctly, most controllers are currently around 9 to 8-bit. A 12-bit is amazing. Let's be real. Let's dumb it down once again, guys. What do we know about gaming? Okay, the higher the hertz, the better everything. Higher hertz, better. 12-bit, fantastic. So let's take a look here. Under the X input protocol, joystick accuracy refers to the precision degree to which the controller converts the player's gaming input into digital signals. The shorter the minimum stroke when pushing the joystick, the higher the accuracy of the controller. In the fields of computer science and digital electronics, bit, also known as binary digit, is the smallest unit of information. Therefore, the unit of joystick accuracy is also represented by bit. In theory, the higher the joystick accuracy means the better performance of the controller. However, in some games, slightly lower accuracy is better suited to match in-game data. Therefore, players can adjust by themselves to find the most suitable accuracy based on different games. Case reference: Xbox Series controller and Xbox Elite 2 controllers have an accuracy of 9-bit and a polling rate of 125 Hz. DualSense has an accuracy of 8-bit and a polling rate of 250 Hz. The Edge has an accuracy of 8-bit and a polling rate of 1000 Hz. Okay. Speaking of polling rates, guys, you can actually control your polling rate right in the software itself from 1000 to 125. We're defaulting to 1000 here, obvious choice. For what type of games we play, you can adjust accordingly based off your needs. Joystick center sensitivity, guys. I'll read this out. It's not a big one. Joystick center sensitivity is determined by the linear compensation ratio of the joystick. By setting different ratio values, the actual output data of joystick center can be adjusted. This function mainly affects the experience of starting the speed of the joystick center in FPS games. I've tested all three so far in COD. I cannot tell the difference. I can't. Maybe it does. I just can't tell the difference. I really can't. Since we already have the debounce deactivated, same thing with the rebounce. It has to do with the jitter, guys. It's not needed for FPSs, therefore I have it turned off. Since these are global settings, if you guys close it, it's already saved. So nothing to do there. Overall, the software is really well done, minus that whole resizing, guys. So I'm gonna say 8 out of 10 on the software. There's room for improvement, and I know they listen to their customers. They watch their competition. So I can only see this software getting better. So let's move on to testing of the controller, guys, shall we? All right, guys, here we are. We're in the gamepad tester. We're going to do a few tests on it. We're going to do a few tests on X input. And then we have the online gamepad tester for the actual error and stuff like that. First, it recognizes the controller. Awesome. We'll just do that. Oh, I've not clicked into it apparently. We'll just do a regular test here. We have to rotate the left stick without stopping. Not a problem. All right, so 0.5, 1.02, 4.1, 0.35. Okay. So all pretty good tests. Let's go ahead and run it again, but let's do the full 6,000 test, shall we? Stability, first off on this one, that's on me. I kind of stopped halfway through. But the hertz are good. Polling rate is up there. Once again, I kind of did that. Maximum latency is lower than the smaller text, which is awesome. Average is a little bit higher than earlier, 1.4. The minimum is right where it was before. The jitter is, these are really good tests. Really good tests. Now let's test an X input. Earlier when I did this, the wrong thing. It didn't test all that great. And I don't know why that was. And it had to do with outliers. Lots of outliers. That's the only thing I have with this controller is every time I do an X input test, this is what I get. And I don't know why. So the overall test, not bad. It's just the outliers on it. It's outrageous. You'll see it doesn't matter what I do. I can do the 2000 sample here. It's going to do the same thing. Outliers galore. I don't know why. It could be something on my PC. It could be the controller itself. Has a lot of outliers. This is the only drawback so far on the controller itself that I've found. You see right here, we have it's all over the place. It's literally all over the place. We have the smaller test and the 82 outliers. We have the larger test here, and we have only 24 outliers. So, maybe something on my computer is causing it. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know if anybody else is having that issue or not. Not a big deal though, as the overall testing on it is still pretty good. Now let's use gamepad tester real quick. As you can see, this is online. You can actually, the moment you touch your controller, it recognizes it if it's plugged in. So we're going to test circularity. We're going to discuss once again how in the software you had the circular and the rectangle for the left and right stick. If we test circularity here, it's going to say spin joystick slowly to test. I guess I can do slower. There we go. As you guys can see here, we keep on the average error. We keep on going from 0 to 0.1. That is the best test for a stick I've ever had. Remember, the right stick, we have it on the circular for precision for aiming, and the left stick, we have it on rectangle just for movement. So with that being said, guys, if I were to switch it, and I have tested this, if I would switch it to get both circle, I'd have the same error on both. Same thing with the rectangle. That's fantastic. I think that's very fantastic. For the rectangle, that's very average in that regard. For circle, I think that's fantastic. Yeah, I do have another controller that is similar in the average testing, and I think they also use circular, but I haven't been able to confirm that yet. So Yeah, we'll find that out on another when we do those controller reviews. So, very, very well done. So, without further ado, let's just jump on into the ending, shall we? The Vader 4 Pro, guys. What is our determination? Is it all hype or is it the real deal? I'm just gonna jump to the point, guys. It's the real deal. This is the best controller I've ever played with especially for a first-person shooter. The ability to on the fly adjust your looseness or tightness on both controllers, the overall functionality of the controller, the software, the design, everything. It's a great controller. I highly recommend getting it. I'm gonna put a few different sites you can get it from, including Amazon and AliExpress, in the description below. But I try not to give a controller a perfect score, and we're not going to today. Just on a few of the things here. First off, the FlyDig software does have room for improvement. And the outliers in the X input test are concerning, but there's no way to really determine if the controller or myself that is causing that, especially since it is so much different from the actual test we do on the gamepad test software. The ability to switch between a circular and rectangular stick, also amazing. There's so many pros and very little cons. Obviously, getting the grip is on my to-do list. But my review, 9.5 out of 10, guys. It is a damn near perfect controller. Definitely the best Xbox style controller on the market today. And yes, that includes FlyDigi's own Apex 4. Fantastic. I am curious on the PS5 version of what could be the best PS5 market controller coming out at the end of this month in the Hex's Phantom controller, which we do have one coming. So we'll do the review on that one coming probably at the end of the month, hopefully beginning of next month, most likely is when we'll get it. But back to this bad boy. I think this is the best one. If you can get your hands on it, do it, especially if you love Xbox Pro controllers. This is the best one on the market, hands down. Bang for your buck. It's not an expensive controller, less than $100. Guys, just do yourself a favor and get this controller. It's that good. It's that good. Yeah, it's that good of a controller. So, but yeah, that's it for me today, guys. Get your hands on the FlyDigi Vader 4 Pro, best controller on the market today. But without further ado, guys, until next time, keep your mental health first, everything else second. I love you guys. Peace.
Blah, 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 blah.